to where things should go with you and going anywhere.
The Truth with Gwen Azama-Edwards, every Thursday at 6:15 on Goliath Radio. Gwen Azama-Edwards, retired city clerk, former city commissioner, City of Daytona Beach. The Truth with Gwen Azama-Edwards on Goliath Radio.
And you've been sitting much too long, much too long. Welcome, 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 welcome to Truth, a radio program designed with you in mind, a program whose sole purpose is to empower you, our listeners, for information leads to knowledge, and knowledge is power. And as always, I want to empower you to take control of your life, those things that impact you, your family, and your community. As always, too, I want you to go to the website at www.gwen-truth.com so you can access all the resource listings that will make you what? All powerful. You got it, you got it, you got it. Also want you to go there so you can take part in the query that we have, and we're probably getting close to the end of that. And it's asking you how you see our current politicians. Do you feel actually that they're less courteous and less everything than those from even a decade ago? So go there so you can chime in on the query. As has been stated, I'm Gwen Azama-Edwards, former city commissioner, retired city clerk, City of Daytona Beach, author, minister, St. John Missionary Baptist Church, Inc., and community volunteer. And one of the organizations that I volunteered for many years, I guess around 30, an organization which was originally tied to my employment, which was, of course, as the Employment Service Office Manager for Volusia County. And later I became the office manager of not just my current office, but also we expanded into Flagler County so that we had offices in DeLand and Daytona Beach and New Smyrna Beach, Flo Baker, thank you Flo, and also an office up in Burnell in Flagler County. And then I became, of course, regional manager of 9 counties, and all of which came close to Volusia County, but did not include Volusia County. Went to Brevard, went to Orange County, you know, the other little counties in Seminole County, other counties there, and then all the way up to Pope and, you know, the areas in that area. You know, what can I say? But that, and of course, got an opportunity to work with what was then workforce development boards and the like. So then came back, of course, to be the city clerk of the City of Daytona Beach, and enjoyed that tremendously, as I have enjoyed so much of other stuff as well. But the Workforce Development Board has gone through several names, JEPA, you know, all that kind of stuff, and Private Industry Council to emphasize its emphasis with the private sector and the employer side of the coin, because it's about employers, it's about job seekers as well. And so we've gone the full gamut of that, and there is a new brand that we're going to talk about today with the new, she's not so new now. She wasn't really totally new then, because she was, of course, the assistant and deputy director of Private Industry Council, Workforce Development Board, Volusia Flagler County, you know, on and on and on to where we are now. And I'm going to have her go ahead and announce that, even though you guys have seen some of the changes in terms of the new logos, etc., and some of the rollout of that, we're going to talk about that, because so many of you are saying you're still unemployed. And I know, having run for office, having talked to a lot of individuals, and especially Volusia County, that so many of you are underemployed as well. What does that mean? That means you have college degrees, you have a lot of experience, but you're kind of stuck in, I won't call them deadbeat jobs, but you're stuck in jobs that do not recognize and fully appreciate or take your education and training into the mix of deciding what job you're going into, what job you're in, or how much you will be paid. So, as a result of that, there are opportunities, training opportunities and the like for you, if that is where you find yourself. And, you know, for you who are businesses and you want to get, you know, meet your needs and you have certain needs in terms of your job seekers, this is the place to come. So let me welcome my friend of many years, and a lady who is she just gives so much back to the community in addition to doing the great job that she does at her location. And again, I'll let her say what the new name of the operation is, and we will kind of take it from there. So welcome, Robin. You know, I never realized, but I guess I've seen it a lot. R is your middle initial, but Robin R. King. And again, she is President CEO of Robin.
Career Source.
Okay, let's have you say that again, because I didn't have the mic working very well.
Okay. It's Career Source.
All right.
Flagler Volusia.
Wonderful. Career Source. Now this new brand rolled out when, and what are some of the steps that are being taken to reignite the not only utilization of your operation, but also to acquaint the employers and the job seekers with what you're about, and the fact that, you know, to make this kind of a seamless transitioning into the new brand.
So it was back in 2012 that the legislature really did ask what was then Workforce Florida to come up with a statewide brand. And this has not been done successfully in any state.
Mm.
And so there was a lot of things that kind of worked up to it. Everyone had the opportunity to come to the table. This is what works, this is what doesn't work. That included job seekers, that included businesses, that included the regional boards, because there's 24 regional boards, and we all had our own individual names
Mm-hmm.
and our own individual brands. We were the best kept secret. You know, a job seeker crosses a county line and they go into another region, then they have to find somebody else. If you have a business that does the same, or if you have a business that works within more than one region, you know, here we were called the Center for Business Excellence. They go across the bridge over to Seminole, it was Workforce Central Florida over there, and then it's a different name of Brevard. So all 24 boards on February 10th became Career Source, insert geographic locator. So we are Career Source Flagler Volusia. Down south of us, it's Career Source Brevard. In the Orlando area, it's Career Source Central Florida. You know, so it's not always just county names. For those of us who have either one county, two counties, it's easy just to do that.
Right.
Some of them, they kept their regional name, whether that was Northeast or Central or that kind of thing.
And for those who don't know you or didn't know you as Workforce Development Board, they knew One Stop Centers.
Yes.
Yes, which was also under that same umbrella.
You know, it wasn't until I was putting together a presentation to kind of show all the different names, and oh my gosh, I wonder if people are confused. But even, I mean, our email address was cde-fec.org. We had a website that was onestops.com. We had another website that was centerforbusinessexcellence.net. You know, so the branding standards really just align us. We're all a .com. We all have, you know, you can now Google Career Source and we all come up. And just then to help increase awareness, you had asked, I mean, we're about to do a large campaign. I'm not sure if it's up yet, billboards, buses, you know, we were able to get, there was some funds that came along with that directly from the state, that so it wouldn't take away from our local services to really kind of help promote that.
Right.
You know, so I've seen magazines, I've heard radio ads, whatnot, that might even be done by Career Source Florida out of Tallahassee for the statewide, and people will compliment me on it. I'm like, thank you. You know, but it's become this network now of the 24 regional boards, along with the state. The best example, we actually had a day at the Capitol in February after the rollout. We were up there for the state board meetings, and we were just talking to senators and representatives, not with an ask, it was just to let them know who we were. And there was one representative we were talking to, she was from Tampa. The 5 of us that were in the room were not from Tampa. You know, I was from Volusia, Flagler counties, there was somebody from Pinellas, there was somebody, from Tallahassee, you know, so we were this network of, we all
We
are
all
in the business
one.
of the same thing, yes,
Yes.
exactly, so, you know, it was a little bumpy, and we actually have, we're still working on collateral materials, you know, our brochures and our flyers and some things like that, even our website, though we have a website up, it gave us an opportunity to really kind of cull through what we had on the website that had
Mhm.
kind of convoluted when we put too much on there, and then we also combined two websites into one.
Mhm.
So it's still gonna be the central point where anyone can find anything out about us, but it's a lot cleaner looking, the colors pop, it's just, you know, I even get compliments just on the logo itself.
Mhm.
You know,
Mhm.
it's
Yes, it is.
nice.
It's current. It's relevant. It's jazzy. What they call it, sexy type of thing. And it's interesting, you know, having served on the board from different types of representations as an elected official, as an employer, as someone who was tied regional office, whatever, all of that stuff. I just kept changing titles and still maintaining a presence there. But what is interesting to note is the fact that whether it was Workforce Development Board, Private Industry Council, this organization in Volusia, you know, and then took on Flagler County, but over the years, it has been very successful and effective in really reaching out, meeting the needs of job seekers and employers. And it was always amazing for those, especially private employers who served on the board, the fact that other employers didn't know and were not as aware of the services that are available for those who are in need of them. And there's a full gamut of services that are available for the job seekers as well as those who are seeking employees in the area. Do you find that, and is the thought that as we have a common brand, it's going to be a lot easier to sell the overall concept and for people to get to know and understand, irrespective of where they come from and who they are, especially if they're in Florida, that this is the place to come if you have a need for a career source?
You know, I don't think it's ever been a difficult sell. The only thing is people think there's gonna be a catch.
Mm-hmm.
You know, nobody gets anything for nothing, you know. But once someone goes through the services, especially on the business side, our repeat business is always there.
Mm-hmm.
It's just creating an awareness so that when the business is in need for new talent or to help upgrade the skills of their existing workforce, to remember us.
Mm-hmm.
And so to me, that's one of the reasons why this is so beneficial, the whole rebranding, is to be, you know, that we're there all the time. So we're in the front of the brain, you know, like, oh yeah, it's them. You know, we've actually purchased some other outreach tools so that we can do more extensive newsletters. Anybody who's ever used us, you know, and just kind of doing reminders, we're here, this is
Mhm.
what we do, and so that new companies, especially the newest ones, I actually sit on Sunday mornings and I look through the paper and I see who's new and I write them a card and I put my business card in there and I send it to them, just let us know when you're ready to hire and, you know,
Right.
we can help. And so it's that personal touch that we can bring to every business, and it's depending on what they need, whether they need to recruit just one or two, if they are looking to bring on a large group. We've talked with some businesses about helping them do assessment to make sure that there's gonna be a good match. And the other thing I'm really trying to get the word out on is that we have a highly skilled workforce that's still looking for jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Most of who, the majority, you know, like 51, 52% of who we have using our system right now, looking for employment, have some kind of college education. And I'm talking about associate's degrees, bachelor's degrees, master's degrees, and I have doctorates.
Mm-hmm.
And they all, for whatever reason, during the recession, the Great Recession, had lost their employment and have not gone back. And you mentioned about the underemployed, so
Mhm.
I would say right now we're averaging about 25% of who uses our services already has a job.
Mm-hmm.
And so our services are available to anyone who's seeking employment, regardless if they already have something now or not, because we did spend a number of years telling people that they're more employable as soon as they get a job. You know, so they might take something that isn't
That's
fully
true.
utilizing their skill set, but it keeps them fresh, and then the future employers, if you will, they're more attractive because they know then they've got the soft skill set that, you know how to show up for work on time and they get along with others. And so if there's not a job opportunity for them, we also do a lot of promotion for volunteerism. You know, get out there, stay in the mainstream.
Absolutely, because you know, we all know, or people have come to learn, that it's a lot easier to get a job when you have a job.
Yes.
It is easier to do that. Now, for those, Robin, who are not that familiar with your services, share with, let's start with the employer group. What are the other types of services that are available through CareerSource?
For a business in Volusia and Flagler counties, we are there to help with recruiting, hiring, and developing talent. So when someone is looking to hire, we can take a job order, get it posted so that it goes into a statewide database that is accessible by anybody who's registered in seeking employment, and we put it out there for them. When they actually have found someone they selected to hire, we have a training program called on-the-job training. And on-the-job training is intended to help both the business and the job seeker. The job seeker is going to be learning new skills with the business. The business has a heavy upfront cost of training whenever they hire a new employee. So we pay half the wage for a time depending upon what skill set that they're going to be learning. The higher the skill, the longer we can do the training for. And then after that employee might be there for a while, or any employee, it doesn't have to be the same one. There's times when you need to upgrade the skills, whether that's for technical reasons or if you want to expand the leadership capacity of your workforce. What we do is we have a customized training program, and that is where the business selects who they want to do the training, and then we do a match, and we pay for half the training. More often than not, the business's match is they're paying the wage while somebody's going to the training, so that's their match. And then we actually pay or reimburse 100% them for the actual training that's come in. Or they might have traveled and the business pays for the travel, that kind of thing. And so we sit down with each one of them and figure out what their needs are, and whether that's recruiting talent or developing talent and helping them retain talent. That's what we're doing for the businesses.
And the businesses should know too that in line with what you just shared, that you do customize, actually customized training, offer customized training, either through, let's say, Daytona State College or some other site, and that is available for them as well, so that they're able to get the type of training that's specific to their businesses,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, the business is the one that's going to choose the trainer on what they need. There's no rigid guidelines on that or anything. It's just, use something, HVAC techs, or electrical techs. There's a lot of electrical equipment or a new air conditioner, and they need to be retrained on a new model. So then they're going to have to choose that trainer that's going to be able to come in and do that. So that is 100% the business chooses how they need their employees trained.
And normally what you're looking at is that they're training someone who's in maybe close to an entry-level type of a position, and once they're trained, they may get a promotion which opens up an opening for someone who comes in with basic, talent, and then they can then be trained and come into that open position. There are a lot of employers out there who've come to utilize and then become aware of the services that you offer, and there's so many more who don't. Just like you're saying, they can't believe that they can get all this and not have to pay oodles for it, or that a lot of these services are actually there and available for free. And those who serve on your board, and it has to be more than 50% still, right?
Correct.
Private sector employers, and I'm sure that they would be available and able to share with any employer who may be doubtful and just wants to make sure, okay, you're sure that I can get this, that, or the other. To check with them and learn what the fantastic services are available for those employers. Now, for those who are job seekers, what is it that you would say that you offer them that's not just unique to you, but other things, because people need to know that our local providers and Career Source here in Volusia Flagler County really you're always trying to work outside of the box, actually, if you can. Not doing anything that's that wild and crazy like the people with the cape, but you do things to try to help that particular applicant or job seeker where they are to get to the place where they need to be, which is to become employed. Yes, and self-sufficient.
Right. One of the things that I think I'm most proud of is that we really do everything we can to be as prescriptive as possible. Not to be cookie cutter, that one size fits all, that what's going to be good for Gwen when she walks through the door versus what's good for Robin, it's depending on that person's background, their current skill set, where it is that they are in their life of working. So we have programs from, for the youth. We work with kids ages, I shouldn't say kids, I'm trying to say young adults. They don't like being called kids. But 16 to 21. And getting them re-engaged, we work primarily with high school dropouts, get them their GED, and then helping them with their career path. And not just, okay, go work at fast food or something like that, but making sure that they're getting into a career that they're going to be able to continue on. In fact, today we had a meeting with Apple. Apple came down to talk to us on how we can have maybe just expose the kids to what that means to be an app developer, whether that's the coder or the designer. It's exciting stuff.
Yes.
Because these are kids that have been disengaged from school and they don't see a reason to go back, and so we want to show them, potential that's really out there. And then for adults, 18 and older, we help with anything from doing up resumes to a one-page resume is so it's your first face, it's your first introduction to a potential employer, and we have individuals who come in with their 10-page resume thinking it's just fine, showing them how to condense that down and make it pop. I had a friend who was using our services, and she said that she just couldn't figure out, why she wasn't doing the job. And so she gave me her resume and said, so what do you think? And I said, didn't anybody tell you that your resume should not look like this? She's one of the most creative people I know. I said, this should show your creativity. And so she said, well, they said I should do something, but she had kind of ignored it. So she took it back, and they got it down to one page, and it was gorgeous, and yes, she works. And she was surprised at how quick it was. I said, resumes weed people out.
Right.
A business is looking for 5, 6 different things on there, and if they can't find it easily, they go on to the next one because they have a lot of resumes to call from. Now that's for somebody who has the skills to really compete in job market. If someone doesn't have the skills, that's when we really sit down with someone and look at their career plan. Maybe they just need to go back for a class or two. Maybe they need to go back for a certificate. When I say certificate, I'm talking like industry certified. It's one of the things you've heard Daytona State talking about, and they're so right on target with that. That if we're training in something that the industries don't recognize, then it's worthless to them. The other thing is that we haven't started yet, but there's 2 things that we're going to be starting. One is working more with seniors. We have never been, and seniors in college is what I'm referring to. We've never really done a lot with 4-year degree programs. And we don't have enough to be able to do the full 4 years, but we've been granted flexibility now that we could go in and help somebody maybe at the end of their 4 years of the last year. And then what we want to work with them on is also a work experience. The thing, we just concluded a talent gap survey. We did it with Career Source Central Florida and Career Source Brevard, and asking all the businesses what's lacking. And we don't have the final results yet, we're gonna have those, at the end of this month, in June. But I do know that the number one thing that everyone has said is experience. You know, the CNC machinists, you know, what people getting trained, and again, in Daytona State, they heard that as well, and they've been putting some work experience into their training. Because, you know, we've seen the unemployment rate come down, but there's still too high unemployment rates, and one of which is college graduates. Because they don't have the experience to go along with the academic training that they had just had.
Right.
So we wanna really start taking a look at, in particular, those STEM occupations, you know, those that are gonna really help the targeted industries move forward. So we can help, you know, with tuition, we can help with, that work experience, but again, we're gonna be looking at those occupations that we see is either has demand today, or based on the target industries that Team Volusia and accounting, both Flagler and Volusia are, those businesses they're trying to attract. You know, the business that's been discussed is gonna be coming out here in Williamson, the large distribution center. So we've been taking a look.
Trader Joe's, yeah.
So we've been taking a look at what kind of occupations fits into a distribution center. Daytona State's doing the same thing, is what kind of training is gonna be needed, so we can start in the pipeline. I've been talking with, you know, Bethune-Cookman University, I've been talking with Embry-Riddle and Stetson and Kaiser in Daytona State. Just, you know, what is that pipeline that's always coming out, and seeing how we can be more attractive to those students that are gonna be graduates, because we train some incredible talent.
Yes,
And then,
that
you know,
leads
then
the
they
area.
leave. Well, they come in from outside. I didn't realize until recently how many at Bethune-Cookman, for example, are from all over the country. You know, and they get here, and wouldn't you think that they'd like to live here instead of going back to Michigan? You know, it's gonna be really cool. You know, so if we can provide some opportunities for them, and but also show prospective companies, this is the talent we have here, because everyone knows that we have some tremendous
Yes.
talent at the, you know, Embry-Riddle. Look at what they train, and what, yeah, we wanna keep those young adults here.
And we have so many colleges, universities, including community college, and you know, and areas that provide occupational training and the like, but we seem to be training them just so they can go somewhere else. We know that some of those students, I'm sure, have built-in jobs waiting for them when they do go back, but there's a great deal and a large number of them who would love to stay in the area and provide some service or get some experience and the like. And so it's wonderful that you're looking to mesh that, what you're doing, what the universities are doing, with what is needed in the area. Because that speaks volumes really in terms of not only being able to keep them here, but having a sellable product. I hate to put it that way, but it's true. Sellable product for drawing the employers into the area. So that is super fantastic, and it really speaks to, you know, times change, people change, you know, situations change, and the way we do business has to change to keep up with it. So it's good that you're doing that.
Actually, I heard a business, we're going after a grant called Ready to Work. And we had a business that was on the call, and one of the things we talked about was that education needs to keep up with the business, you know, and it's moving so much quicker. You know, there's new occupations that are out there that full job descriptions aren't even written for yet. You've seen that new school that's going in, it's in Central Florida, that Polytech. They're training for positions that don't exist yet.
Right,
You know,
right.
if you're looking at clean technology, if you're looking at life sciences and all these different things, it's exciting. You know, but we want to be able to also tell our job seekers, okay, if you take these kinds of courses, this is what will happen.
I was just at a meeting with Halifax Associates on yesterday, and you know, they keep us abreast of things that are going on. But I found it so interesting to hear the CEO talk about some titles of some new positions that I was not familiar with. Maybe our listeners are, but they were talking about hospitalists and intensivists, And those are actually people who, the hospitalists are actually trained doctors, they're medical doctors, you know, family physicians or general practitioners who just started out, and they're hiring them, and they actually work with patients while they're in the hospital. When the doctors have their own little offices, you know, that they're kind of taking care of, these are physicians that work with them to tend to the needs of the patients that are in the hospital. And that's the hospitalist. And the intensivists are those who work with persons who are in intensive care. And you know what I'm saying, oh, I never heard of this. I mean, it's to meet a need. They determined there were these certain needs that were important to be met. You know, the doctors came up with the decisions and the idea, and some of the others that were there in the medical field. And so in meeting the need, they actually then started hiring these individuals. So what does that do? That keeps those doctors, new doctors, you know, keep them in the area. Those doctors make, you know, over $100,000, $20,000 a year to start, and they've got about 30 of them, he said, in Halifax. So you've got individuals who are well trained, who then are meeting a need, and who are actually there and available in our area, because there's a shortage of doctors, you know, in this state and around the nation. So it's wonderful that you have employers like that who listen to, you know, not only their staff, but they listen to the needs and look at the needs of the patients and actually develop something and come up with something to meet that need. So, you know, hats off to Halifax that's doing that, and I know there are others that are doing it as well. But isn't it interesting as you look at the not just the talent, but the opportunities that are there, and then as we were saying, meshing that talent and the opportunities and the needs with really a situation where it's a win-win for everybody.
Well, and see, you just pointed out exactly why we need to talk to businesses constantly.
Yes.
They're coming up with their own solutions, and you know, if they've created this new solution for their business, then we need to know what that is,
Yes,
so that we can
yes.
help supply that. Now, we don't have a lot of doctors coming through our system, but you know, they're because when we were talking about the customized training, you know, and upgrading the skills, sometimes it's a business if they've had to consolidate, you know, and they had two people, one person left, and they really don't, you know, they're going to try to have one person now do two people's jobs. You know, we've had someone who, I'm trying to remember, there was, whether it's firefighters now becoming EMTs or some, you know, whether it doesn't always have to be someone that they're going to be promoting. It's just to help that business thrive.
Right, right.
And so, yes, the survey that we just did, it included focus groups and interviews were we asking the right questions? And then after the survey, you know, saying, are these results accurate? You know, and one of the things that's really coming out more and more is about company culture. You know, and making sure that there's a match for that. So it's not just
And they
about
call that being a good fit, right?
Actually, I was reading an interview, and they call it a misfit. I'm like, okay, that's a different way of saying it. Mismatch. But yeah, you know, so it's even more important for us to help those job seekers understand that it's not just about those skills. It's about the company culture and how to help them understand what that is and to research it, so I'm still a big believer that if you follow your heart and you go for the job that you really want to do, then you'll get it.
Oh yes,
You know,
yes.
if you just follow where you think money's going to be or whatnot, no one's going to be happy. And that culture is part of that now. If you're in a place where the company culture really manages and they're really, you know, they're always, everything's always urgent, but you're a little bit more laid back, or vice versa. I mean, you need it's a personality almost.
Yeah. Being a good fit, the employers are looking for good fits, good applicants and job seekers that can fit into become employees at their place, and not upset the apple cart, so to speak, but be able to just come in, blend in, and really be able to continue that productivity, and if anything, raise it from what they have. And the job seekers should want something that is going to be satisfying to them, utilize their talents, their abilities, and also give them opportunities for growth. And a lot of applicants are looking for, and job seekers are looking for that as well. So it's a good fit on both sides of the coin in truth, which is so key and so important. I saw something, because I get results of surveys and stuff all the time. I have so much stuff comes in to me. But I saw a survey that said that 70% of people that they surveyed, employees, were happy on the job. And I thought to myself, that is totally unusual, because what we had been seeing was that more and more people were unhappy and dissatisfied being on the job. And this was saying that people really look forward to going to work. So something's going on
So
right
70%,
somewhere.
yes, well, there's even training for businesses on how to ask those questions
Mhm.
to help with that match, of that fit.
Yes.
Make sure that that person really wants to work for that company. It's
Mhm.
not just because you need a job and I need
Right,
someone to
right.
do something. There is more emphasis on employer-employee relationships.
Mhm.
And it's just critical, it's, because we've been doing, some other training, and I should have mentioned this before, we're about to do round 3 of a program called Start Quest.
Yes.
And this is for the entrepreneurial training.
Yes.
And to me, they're successful if they go start their own business. But it's also that they're successful if we can train job seekers in what the overall business, all aspects of the business. So if they go to the job, it's not just to go do their own tasks. They understand everything that everybody else is doing around them. They understand what the business owner is responsible for and what they're looking for, and they can contribute to that.
Mhm.
Whether that's for sales or marketing, and they can say, well, have you thought about this? And I know as an employer that I need that from my employees, that if I try to figure that out all by myself, I wouldn't get any work done. So to be able to have that mentality or that mindset of, okay, the business owner has all these things to think about. So if we're training them through simulation on creating a business, because we teach them marketing, we teach them all the, how to find investors, we teach them the market research, all those different kinds of things. And so it's very unlike a lot of trainings that we've ever done before. We're going to be doing the 3rd round late this summer up in Flagler County.
Oh,
I'm excited
okay.
about that.
Okay, wonderful. Because if you think about it, some employees don't care, okay? They're just there to get a job. But we're talking about the ones who really have a passion, or those who really care about helping that employer. And it helps them to see how they fit in the overall plan and mission of the company. Because when a person feels that what they're doing, what they're contributing is actually making a difference, I don't care what the setting, it really gives them more buy-in to what's going on. Yeah, I gotta say very quickly, you're listening to Truth with Gwen Azama-Edwards. This is WLE BIG 1380 AM on your radio dial in Ormond Beach, Florida. And thank you to all of our listeners. We're happy to have you with us. And my guest, of course, is Robin King, who is the president CEO of Career Source Flagler Volusia. And the predecessor name was, of course, like you're familiar with One Stop of Volusia Flagler. You're familiar, I'm sure, with the Workforce Development Board. You're also familiar with Private Industry Council. There are all kinds of names, JEPA. This is about employment and training. It's about employment and training. And we're talking about ways in which people can actually, the employer can get people who make a good fit for them and their business culture, and for the employee, the job seeker, and how they can help ensure that they're a good fit, that the business they're going into is also a good fit. You guys get information on those jobs that, because we were talking earlier about training available for the job opportunity that's current and will be available in the future. You get information on those jobs that are not only available now, but will present and provide opportunities for placement in the future. What are those areas that you're hearing and seeing and received information on that are good for people to really, when they think about training and the like, to really seek out or go into?
Health is a biggie. And that was one that actually kind of didn't dip a lot during the Great Recession. In all aspects of it, whether it's
I was just
medical
gonna say,
coding,
yes,
it's not
yes.
just, it's, for example, I could never be a nurse or anything, that looks like blood. But those other services, the medical coding, for example, that's about that has changed. They use this national database, and they've changed the software, so everybody needs their skills
Right.
upgraded to version 10 for that.
The doctors, the hospitals, all the medical locations and the like, they all need them. And I know there was a time when they first went into this where they were actually having all of their staff, those locations, their training upgraded,
Yes.
so that they could actually do that kind of data entry.
It's also created some new businesses that have found their niche, whether they're the ones that are going off the revenue for the medical field. And I don't know enough other than that it used to be a simple 10-key kind of thing where you just but now it requires the person who's doing that 10-keying to understand anatomy and physiology and some other things. So again, it's because there's a higher skill level to it. The wage goes up along with that. So health is a biggie.
And we know too that as we go to see our doctors and the like, what a lot of the medical locations are doing is they're keying in your information, and that information then is accessible to them wherever you find yourself or wherever they find themselves, and you don't have to every time you go in to see your doctor, whatever, start filling out the forms. Eventually, all of that should create a situation such that you don't have the continual, completion of this form, that form, and the like, and all of that helps as well.
Manufacturing, specifically advanced manufacturing. Manufacturing today doesn't look anything like it did back in the 60s, 70s, and the 80s. This is high-tech solutions that people have found to problems that are out there. It requires a high skill. They are clean. They are, they're phenomenal. Call Jane Piper any day and get on one of those plant tours to go out there and see what's out there. So that's a big need. That our area really seems to also have a niche on medical manufacturing. And if you've had the opportunity, have you been to one of her showcases that they do with VMA? They can be the smallest, tiniest little part, but it's creating a solution. And our area manufacturers, I think, work very well together.
And not only that, they're the ones who are actually have a much better rate of hiring and staying open, we might say, than they do even on the state or national level. The Volusia Manufacturing Association here in our area really does a fantastic job of supporting not only those businesses and manufacturers, but they do a fantastic job of encouragement and ensuring that these employers in that field get to stay abreast of what's happening. They provide that type of ongoing training and access to information, so that too is fantastic, because as they stay abreast of what's coming down the chain, they actually are able to make those kinds of adjustments in the work setting so that the people that are working for them stay employed, but they also have the opportunity of going after dollars that will be available that would open other avenues to be able to hire more people. So it's good to stay abreast.
Manufacturing positions, jobs, have the greatest impact on a community than any other job. Because of the sustainability of them, because of the wage, and yeah, it's, that economic development impact, when you look at it, they have the highest. Another big one would be, let's see, we've got the transportation and logistics, it's coming down the pike, and actually we have quite a number of job openings in that particular. Anything that's trades, whether that is HVAC, whether that is welding, whether that is that hands-on, and this is the part that we've been hearing for quite some time, that the workforce is aging, and we are. And so there's this gap. going back to the manufacturers, for example, because I know that number, the average age of a manufacturer, production techs, whatnot, is like 45. And so unless we start getting that pipeline going again, and I know that Daytona State, they have been working on, it's hands-on training, because there's work experience that goes along with the certified production techs and their industry certifications that are done. But even like Representative Santiago is looking at bringing in simulation training at Pine High School. We need the kids that are coming out of the high schools, and there's incredible academies both in Volusia County and Flagler County schools, because workforce isn't just this particular age. There's this continuum that starts in kindergarten and it goes all the way through. I don't know if you've met the new superintendent in Flagler County yet. His last name escapes me. Jacob O'Leary. He's a teacher at heart, and he's going to be so good. He shared this story at a recent luncheon that even with his kindergartners, he is having them build houses with Legos. It's either kindergartners or first graders. Because they don't need to know they're learning engineering. Right. But that's what they're doing. And then what he's doing is he's taking those Lego houses and he's putting them into the Parade of Homes on the Flagler Home Builders Association.
Wonderful.
So is that whole continuum, whatever they can do in the grade schools, middle schools, high schools, get them right into then the industry certifications. And if they've gone through an academy when they were in high school to be able to lead to that, then we've got that pipeline going.
Oh, absolutely. And it's so good to hear and to see the doors open again to getting the creativity blossomed again in our young people, because for so long, based upon our educational system program, et cetera, we seem to be trying to fit them all into the same box and make them all learn and deal with the same thing. But to actually have opportunities where there's increased efforts, to really allow that creativity of our young people to blossom, because America is a land of ingenuity, and such talent. And unless that continues to flow, we're not going to be on top. We will end up taking second, third, or fourth place. So it's important that not only that we stay up there as a country, but it's also important that we allow our young people the opportunity of utilizing this gray matter that makes them so different, all of us so different from other animals, because we're able to think and to reason, So I applaud them for what they're doing, and I know we're doing some similar stuff here. And I would say the nasty word that they just took out of all the legislation, Common Core, but it did get into and does get into a lot of those opportunities to allow the young people to really think outside of the box and do some things and learn some things that's going to help them in real life. So as we look then at all these opportunities that are there, and individuals some who have more recently come out of the job force, so they're a little bit more familiar with the electronic age, so to speak. But then you've got a lot of older workers who are not as equipped and the like. Are there opportunities for them to have access? Because there are people listening who probably say, you mean there's somebody who doesn't have access and doesn't know anything about a computer? You mean there's somebody who really doesn't know anything about an iPad and an Apple phone and all that kind of... Yes, there are people like that, right?
Yeah.
And there are states actually and municipalities and the like where they have actually gone into contract with service providers where in their area they actually provide internet access to all of their people, so that if they're given a computer, or they're given something else, they don't have to worry about when they give that to the kid, that when the kid gets home he doesn't have internet access.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, what good is what they're giving them if they don't have that at home to utilize, if they're actually going to use it there too? And that really started happening years ago, and hopefully we can see more of that. And I know there's been some talk about that, and even downtown Daytona Beach, the city allows some free internet access and the like. But we need more of that, and that kind of talent that allows these kids to just really kind of skyrocket from where they are and blossom into the great way they can be.
IT is so critical to almost every occupation that's out there.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that we still have that digital divide, is what we first started calling it.
Yes,
you know,
yes.
and and even whether that's a youth that has not been exposed necessarily to some of the latest technology, to, you know, we have people coming in who have literally never touched a computer.
Mm-hmm.
So we have computer labs, and we offer some really basic computer online training that they can get in there and they can kind of practice
Mm-hmm.
for whatever it is that they might need, or at least get comfortable enough
Right,
around
right.
something so that they understand how it might affect the next position that they're looking for.
Absolutely. Because, you know, we've even got, and we know the majority of businesses in the United States, and that's anywhere, are the small mom pop or the small businesses under 50. And for a lot of those businesses, they're using old, aged equipment, or they don't even have set up any kind of more modern electronic kinds of equipment. And they really need that if they're going to compete,
Yeah.
you know, in the current market.
Well, just think of it. When's the last time you used the Yellow Pages?
Yeah.
You know, unless somebody has a web presence anymore, whether that's on Facebook or whether that's like a website or
Or
something.
Yelp. I don't know why there's some people not heard of that app, YELP, but that's the one my son turned me on to, where I can go on that and I use it like a Yellow Page. If I'm looking for, you know, a florist or whatever, I just put that in there and I say I want it in my immediate area, and it lists all of the ones that are available.
And it gives you ratings.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. I want a movie. I don't have to go to the paper. I just put in MF, which is an app. It's an app for movies, movie phone. But, you know, it tell me all of the movies that are available, the places where they're showing the movies, and I can say where I want to go, and it show me all the times and everything else. That's here now, and imagine what's going to be here in another year or 2 years, because no sooner do we get our computers than they're outdated in 12 months to 24 months.
Right.
So, you know, we should not be discouraged or try to shut the door on that type of activity, but really open ourselves up to it. I remember when our current president, Barack Obama, came into office, and he was already using his little iPad, whatever, phone thing. And, you know, he was told that, well, you can't use this because there's a security factor in it. I don't know if you remember that. Yeah, he was told that. So he had to actually revert to using something that and it still was a similar type of thing, but it had to be one that really had a little more security about it. We've got to get to the point where we're able to actually make these things work, still maintain privacy, but also make them work in such a way that full realm of opportunities exist for young, old, and in between.
Yeah, there's certain skill sets that everyone should have. You know, if there's a job seeker that's out there thinking, okay, I've got all these skills, but I still can't get a job, what's wrong? You know, customer service. You know, there's some, it's needed in every job that's out there. IT, whatever it is, get to know really what that IT is for your job. And one that has been coming out more and more that I'm hearing about is project management. Someone who can really be able to take a project, see it all, you know, from beginning to end, you know, find a project management class, and just, so it's not always the full degrees. I mean, those are important. I'm just saying, for someone who has maybe got that degree already, but they're still struggling and they can't figure out why. There's so many common things that businesses are looking for now for project management, because if you go into so many companies now, they don't manage the way they used to. They want to be able to give you something and let you run with it.
Right, absolutely.
They don't want to micromanage. They don't have time to. They
don't want to hand sit, babysit, whatever.
And all the technology that's out there now, to be able to use it, you know, no one can say with pride, you know, well, I don't do Facebook, I don't do this. You know, you have to. And this is how the next generation is communicating.
Absolutely.
And it's not just Facebook. Facebook has actually become, you know, more like our age.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
There's Instagram, and you know, and so being able to know which social media to use for the target audience that you want. Now, there might be some industries that really don't have to do as much of that, but to at least be aware of it and be knowledgeable enough so that you go on it. Because when you talk about Yelp or so many other things that are out there where your customers can immediately respond positively or negatively,
Absolutely.
So, I heard a statistic once that, we have, we've talked about having, there's 5 generations in the workforce right now. We've got those that, the ones before us, and then this next group is coming in. And their communication styles are very different. Well, if you think of the seniors that are in the workforce, the most experienced, they've been in it the longest, they have maybe 4 or 5 major technology advancements in when they were, at the helm. And now when you look at the next generation that's coming into the workforce, they've had like over 400. So things are speeding up. And
yes.
it's not easy necessarily, but there's some great productivity tools out there that helps with that. So you can't have the excuse that you're busy because there's too many
Right.
apps that are out there that can help. Again, this conversation we had with Apple this morning, as I asked him, I said, so tell me exactly how someone makes money off apps, especially if they're free. And there are over 1 million apps, it's in millions. About half of them are free, and there's advertising and stuff like that goes in there, but Apple actually has an app you plug into yours for the advertising, so you don't even have to go out and find advertisers for it. But something I learned is that there's external apps that you see, I see, that we can go onto the store and we can buy or download. But there's a lot of internal apps, and I didn't know that. Companies, I'll just use my own company, we don't have one, but if I wanted to have an app that was just for internally so that we could communicate in some manner. One of the gentlemen who was there from Apple, he said, Apple has their own internal apps, like for their expenses, he takes a picture of his receipt and it goes through the app to wherever it's supposed to go.
Right.
So it's not even just what we see, it's all this internal stuff, and there's companies popping up all over the place that are developers, they're coders.
Yes.
And there's something called the Hour of Code that if someone was ever interested, they would go online and just take a look. So it's accessible. It's not like he even said that there's a full, I don't know how long of a program it is, Stanford, for coding that's online at no cost. So, but again, someone that needs to know enough to get onto the computer to look for something like that.
Absolutely, and there are great opportunities. My son, he does this thing on the side called, and he has an app for it called Mugshots, where you can go and see whether or not your mug's still up there from when you were in spring break and all that kind of stuff. Because a lot of people don't know until they go apply for the job that they're going to do this search. God, they have access to all kinds of information. They do this search, and guess what pops up? Your mugshot from when you were here in spring break and such a time, and you had no idea. Isn't it better to go ahead and check it out and blah, blah, this, that, and the other? So he does that on the side with some other stuff that he does. So people can get their own app about their business or whatever. So there's any number of things that are out there, opportunities that are out there, and I'm just grateful that there is an organization like yours who provides employment and training opportunities for job seekers and help for those employers who are also seeking and trying to find good talent. And it's getting harder and harder to make the things mesh, I think, anymore, and to get the right fit. And the best way to do that really is to work with an organization like yours to help that happen. And again, for our listeners, that's Career Source. Share with them how they, website, and if there's a phone number you want to share, and your locations again.
Okay, so our website address is www.careersourcefb.com. So CareerSource, F as in Flagler, B as in Volusia.com. The main number that's actually answered by a person is 386-323-7001. Our locations in Daytona Beach, we're in a strip plaza behind the Volusia Mall. It's 359 Bill France Boulevard. In Orange City, we moved to Orange City about 2 years ago now, out of DeLand, and that address is going to slip right out of my head. It's in the old Kmart Plaza at the intersection of Saxon and Enterprise.
Right.
And then in Palm Coast in Flagler, we are at 20 Airport Road. So we're in the same plaza where the chamber is, right across the street from the Palm Coast High School.
and they're all great locations, beautifully laid out, and they stand available for all of you who are seeking jobs, and again, professional people as well as those who are new entrants into the workforce, and those who are just graduating and even attempting to work with seniors before they graduate, as well as entrepreneurs. You know, for this program's for just about every kind of situation that you are, those you know, maybe, you know, seeking. So please, please, please contact Career Source. And thank you so much, Robin, for coming on the show. Robin King, again, the president CEO of Career Source, Volusia Flagler, and she's new to that position. She's been, what, is it a year going on 2 or?
Actually, it's been 7 months.
7 months. Wow. Okay, only you know, I always think somebody's been somewhere longer probably because I've known you that long. So I know that you've been the person, the right hand person of everybody else that's been in the position for years. So this job is nothing new to her, and what I love about Robin is the fact that she is, you know, others care too, but I'm saying she truly, truly cares about helping the applicant, and she cares about helping the employer, and she has a passion for that, and that's why she does so much other community service as well. So my hat's off to you, shout out to you, and thank you again for coming on the show. Okay, for all of you, thank you for listening. Be sure to tune in every Thursday starting at 6:15 or thereabouts, and tune in and as we discuss issues in truth and do our best to inform and empower you, our listeners. Also, be sure to go to the website, www.gwen-truth.com. Until next time, be informed, be empowered, stand tall for that which is right and truthful. Again, this is Truth with Gwen Azama-Edwards. My guest, President CEO Robin King of Career Source, Volusia, Flagler, Volusia. And Truth with Gwen Azama-Edwards. You be blessed and just have a great week. Thank you for listening.
Gwen Azama-Edwards exclusively every Thursday night on WELE 1380.